Most teachers and instructors are not interested in simply having their students memorize information. Most of us are interested in having students come to a new understanding. Understanding is tricky, as no one can predict the precise moment that a learner will come to understand something for the first time. However, that said, a body of scientific research suggests that there are things that can be done to improve a learner's trajectory toward arriving at that moment of understanding. First of all, one thing that can be done is a learner can space out his or her attempts at trying to understand something new. This means distributing out the study sessions in which the learner is trying to at least make the attempt at trying to grasp or understand something difficult, even if success doesn't happen on any particular one of those days. There are a couple of different reasons why spacing out one's attempts at trying to understand something can be very effective at eventually getting there. One reason is that spacing involves taking mental breaks. And mental breaks alone are something that can help improve someone's trajectory toward understanding something difficult. A major reason for this is that one of the reasons that we're often failing to grasp or understand something new is that we're currently thinking of or bringing to mind irrelevant information that's actually not helpful to understanding this particular concept. And so if we're currently accessing irrelevant representations, or we haven't managed to bring to mind the relevant knowledge that would be most useful for making this new mental leap, then that's perhaps standing in our way. When we take a break, we're sort of giving those irrelevant knowledge representations a chance to settle down a little bit in our minds, so that the next time we approach the task, we're basically approaching the task fresh, so to speak. And when we approach the task fresh, we may be increasing our chances of accessing knowledge that might be more relevant to this task at hand or this concept, increasing the likelihood that we'll eventually arrive at the understanding that we're trying to achieve. Another reason to space out our attempts at trying to understand something new is that when we're spacing out our attempts, presumably we're also getting episodes of sleep in between each attempt, especially if we're spacing out our attempts across multiple days. It turns out that research suggests that when we're sleeping, our brains are not only consolidating our newly formed memories to help solidify new knowledge, our brains are actually also making new connections between the recent information that's newly acquired in our minds and older information that's been in our knowledge base for a long time. And in making those new connections, our brains are essentially preparing our minds to be better positioned the next time around for making that critical connection to help us understand something new for the first time, or to achieve a critical insight into a situation for the first time. And so again, another reason to space out one's attempts is because it allows us to sleep on it, and sleep can enhance the likelihood that we're going to achieve an ultimate understanding of something, even if we're not quite there yet. Finally, another thing that can be done to enhance understanding is to provide a useful analogy. This may be more relevant from the instructor side of things than from the student side of things, as the instructor, who presumably already has an understanding, is better positioned to come up with an analogy that may be helpful. But if you think about it, here's why analogy is helpful. No new idea or understanding comes from out of nowhere. If you think about it, every novel insight or new understanding that any of us ever achieve is coming from somewhere in our minds. It's really coming from new connections that are being made. It's not totally novel. And so an analogy can provide the bridge between what a learner already knows and understands and something new that the learner has yet to understand. So when an instructor can provide an analogy, the instructor can essentially help to provide that bridge between what the student already knows and getting to this new understanding. So remember, to improve your trajectory toward understanding something new, there are several things that you can do. First of all, space out your attempts at trying to understand, especially across multiple days. Second of all, take breaks. Even within a study session, try taking mental breaks to come at it from a clean start the next time you revisit the material. Third of all, sleep on it. Sleep helps to prepare your mind for achieving new insights and understandings. And finally, either seek out or try obtaining useful or potentially useful analogies.